Stream Elements. Welcome to my channel. Nightbot. Welcome to my channel.
Ja. Okay.
Oh my God.
If we can move on now to the state of the race, sir, I want to get back to the campaign. Senator J.D. Vance is your running mate.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of controversy lately, and I want to read you a few things that he has said in the past.
Okay, let's see.
He said the Democrats running the country are a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices they've made.
Sarah Samus. Welcome to my channel.
Zato mislim.
And so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. He's not talking here about how great it is to be a parent. He's attacking what he says are the choices people are making to not have children.
Oh my God!
Did you know that he had these views about people who do not have children before you picked him to be your running mate? And do you agree with him?
No, I know this.
Si vidio o to mislim. people to dark places and darker deeds. To get a little bigger slice of the pie. To cut a partner out of their share. But out here, a bigger share means bigger nightmares. Darker mysteries that don't get answers. More folks bringing torment, more threats to avoid. Out here, death wears more than one face. Out here, greed and revenge baptize all in their wake. Until nothing is left but scorched earth.
Ah.
He is very family oriented, and he thinks family is a great thing. That doesn't mean he
Oh
thinks
my
that
God.
if you don't have a family, it's not. I know people with families. I know people with great families. I know people with very troubled families. And I also know people with no families. They didn't meet the right person. Things happen. You go through life, you don't meet the right
But
person.
he's not just talking
Excuse
about
me.
families here.
And
He also
some of
says that
those
people that
people-
don't have children should get less votes than
That's
those
all
that
right.
do.
I'm just speaking for myself.
that your
And I think
campaign
I'm
position?
speaking for him too. He strongly believes in family, but I know people with great families. I know people with not great families that don't have a family. And the people without the family are far better. They're superior in many cases, okay? He's not saying they're not. What he's saying is that he thinks the family experience is a very important thing. It's a very good thing. But that doesn't mean that if you grow up and you grow older and you don't meet somebody that would be wonderful to meet and would have been good, that that's a bad thing. He's not saying that. My interpretation, you'll have to ask him actually, but my interpretation is he's strongly family oriented, but that doesn't mean if you don't have a family.
Here's the reality. Is when he said that it's a bunch of childless cat ladies who want to make everybody as miserable as they are. He can't say that this is true. But
There's something wrong with it.
Just one last point, and then we'll move on.
to be fair, I think this is a good answer by Trump. Like this is a very, very good answer. It's unfortunate that all the good answers are about the things that don't matter, and all the bad answers are about the things that do matter.
One of the bedrock
It's problematic.
principles of American life is one person, one vote. Senator J.D. Vance has suggested that someone who has children should have more votes than a person who does not have children. I just want to be clear here. Is that the position of your campaign?
Well, no, but it's not something I have ever heard before. I can tell you this. Right now you have illegal aliens coming into our country.
There it is. There it is.
Many from
Yep.
prisons and many from mental institutions, and they want to give them votes. I don't think they should have votes. They came into our country illegally,
People
and
who
they're
are only
taking the vote
American
away
citizens
from
are
all
allowed
of the
to vote,
people in
sir.
this room that have been here a long time, that have worked hard, that in many cases, and you'll see this happening, if I'm not elected, you're going to see it happen. If I am, you're not going to have any problem. But you're going to see it happening a long time. You're going to see the people in this room
Oh,
and people
man.
outside of this room are going to be losing their jobs, the people that have come into this country illegally.
Mr. President, can we stay with just kind of the state of the race right now? Because I felt like that vice president question, candidate question was right in there with that. So let's talk about J.D. Vance for a little bit. He's had some stumbles out of the gate. I don't know if you're hearing what we hear as reporters, but it's been a tough couple of weeks for him. Why did you choose J.D. Vance?
Why are people saying that J.D. Vance was having sex with sofas? Where did this come from? Because I've never seen him say this. It was in his book. It's a lie, like they lie about you. Like, because I don't think that, like, I think that there's a chance he could have done it, but I don't think there's a chance that he would have said he did it. So how will we know? There's no way. Who the fuck goes out and says this as a politician? Yeah, I fucked the couch. How does this come up? First editions had it printed. The second edition removed the admission. Man, I wonder what actually happened. I don't know. Yeah, because this is an important topic.
Why did you choose him? And I'm having a hard time hearing too.
I chose him
everybody out there can, but it's
I'll
hard.
tell you why. I chose him because he's a very strong believer in work and the working man and woman, and especially the working man and woman who have been treated very unfairly, because you have many of them in this room. But you have many of those people, they were treated very unfairly. They worked very hard and they were treated unfairly. He wrote the book that became a bestseller. The movie became a smash hit. He's a very smart guy without the benefit of having a family that has contacts, like a father that was well connected. He got into Yale Law School. He graduated in 2 years from Ohio State, summa cum laude. I mean, you take a look at, his career has been an amazing career. He started off at a level with a difficult family situation, very difficult with the mother and the father and everything else. He ends up going to Yale Law School and was one of the top students, became the head of the Law Journal. I mean, that's an amazing thing. He's a 4-year, he was in the military with great distinction for 4 years, got out, went into business, became successful in business, very successful in business actually, did public offerings and other things. And I have to believe in that. I mean, he's somebody that was born in a rough situation. Most of the people know that situation because it was very well documented in his book. And I have a lot of respect for somebody that can get into Yale and become one of the best students in Yale, that meets a young woman at Yale who is also outstanding, and they get married, they have a beautiful family, but he had he's made himself an amazing life. He then goes to Ohio, lives in Ohio, and he had my endorsement. That helped. But he wins the Senate. He becomes a United States Senator. So he's a United States Senator.
Bro, like, I have to say that. Do you know who really hopes Trump is going to win? Every fucking media company. This guy is just... I mean, this is pure fucking... This is crazy. Endless content. Yes. It's insane.
So Harris, like I respect you for your success, I respect people for their success.
The reason I asked the question is because the last time you and I sat and talked was the day that you were shot. We'd been together for much of that day. You left to go to Butler, Pennsylvania, and we didn't know what was next.
Yeah.
And 2 days after that...
I cannot understand. Your microphone
I know,
is so
it is
muffled.
really hard for me to understand
it's just,
you too.
I can understand you perfectly.
Push
Whoa.
this closer.
So he's trying to get her to move, I bet.
I can understand you.
Happy to hear that, sir.
But I can't
Really happy to hear
understand,
that.
Harris,
I have a few more questions.
because of the distance, and the mics are really in lousy shape, but I cannot understand
Are you asking a question?
what you're saying.
So
ahead.
what I wanted to say was the last time we spoke, you said some words that were prophetic because I asked you who you wanted to choose for vice president.
Yeah.
And you said normally it really wouldn't matter what they would bring. You know, you choose somebody that you think has a future, that sort of thing. But you said these words 3.5 hours before an attempted assassination on your life. You told me that bad things happen, Harris, and that's why this decision is important this time. Bad things happen. You said it twice. When you look at J.D. Vance, is he ready on day one?
Does he what?
Ready on day one, if he has to be.
I've always had...
What? That's a great fucking question. That's a great way to phrase the question. That's so good.
Great respect for him. And for the other candidates too. But I will say this, and I think this is well documented, historically the vice president in terms of the election does not have any impact. I mean, virtually no impact. You have 2 or 3 days where there's a lot of commotion as to who, like you're having it on the Democrat side.
I don't really agree with that. I think that, for example, having Biden on the Obama ticket, like, it definitely kind of, like, made voters like, oh, okay, it's going to be fine. Like, it's basically, like, if you have, like, a kind of out there candidate, and we'll go to Palin, right? That's the other side. If you have an out there candidate, sometimes having a vice president that kind of like, I feel like basically what ends up happening is that the vice president compliments the president in the way that the president is not. So like if the president is extreme, then the vice president is non-extreme. If the president is non-extreme, then the vice president is extreme for more extreme votes, right? So you have somebody like Sarah Palin. Like that affected John McCain massively. I think it did. Then you had Kamala Harris, right? Obviously, Joe Biden is like the traditional super establishment. They bring on Kamala Harris, comparatively much younger, and also like a minority and a woman. And so that brings in that group of people that may feel alienated from just a Biden ticket, right? So yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, and also Trump, like, Vance is 39. I think this is absolutely a point. Again, complimenting Trump because Trump is 78.
It's going to be, and then that dies down, and it's all about the presidential pick. Virtually never has it mattered.
That would have been better. I agree. I don't think, I think J.D. Vance has said a lot of really funny things that I agree with, but I think that in all circumstances and in all cases, picking Vivek would have been a better option, and it was a mistake not to do it.
Maybe Lyndon Johnson mattered for different reasons, or what we're talking.
And I think that that should be taken seriously, because this is, in my opinion, the second bad decision that he's made in terms, like, I didn't think Mike Pence was that great either. But Mike Pence was supposed to show it's going to be business as usual for Republicans in the same way. And I think that in picking bad partners and picking bad people to work with, this does indicate a lack of judgment. Pence is a fucking loser. Well, either way, right? All I'm saying is, like, it's a lack of good judgment.
Not for vote reasons, but for political reasons, other political reasons. But historically, the choice of a vice president makes no difference. You're voting for the president, and you can have a vice president who's outstanding in every way, and I think J.D. is. I think that all of them would have been. But you're not voting that way. You're voting for the president. You're voting for me. If you like me, I'm going to win. If you don't like me, I'm not going to win.
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in.
J.D. Vance?
I'm going to get my J.D. Vance question in. To your point and to Rachel's point, he, you know, has a lot of opinions about childless women like myself or divorced people like yourself. Do you think, well, I mean, my point is here.
But it was said in a friendly manner.
My point is, do you think the Republican Party is getting a little bit too judgy about people's lives when you think about abortion or when you think about what J.D. Vance is saying?
I don't think, look, I think that the Democrat Party is really the one that has the problem. I think they're radical on abortion because they're allowing abortion in the 9th month. They're allowing the
But
death.
I think it's
They're
about
allowing
freedom,
the
right?
death of a baby after the baby is born, based on
Sir,
the
that is
governor of
illegal in
Virginia.
every state in the country.
Based on the governor of Virginia,
Executing a
they're
baby in
allowing the
every
death
state
of
in
the
the country
baby
is illegal.
after it's born. They're
It's a crime.
allowing abortions in the 8th and 9th month. of
Well, Democrats
pregnancy.
have denied.
I think they're.
I think the abortion issue is a bad issue. I do. I think it's. I don't think they should push this.
Pregnant.
Yeah.
And I think the Republican Party is actually much less. I think I've made them much less radical, perhaps. But the Republican Party, what we're doing is bringing it back to the states where everybody wanted it. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted abortion brought back. They didn't want Roe v. Wade in the federal government. They wanted it. Everybody
But the
wanted
majority
it
of
back.
Americans oppose
Excuse me.
Roe v. Wade being overturned.
They
Multiple
don't know
polls have
about
showed that,
this.
sir.
Right now, they're voting. It brought it back to the states. Now, I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Ronald Reagan believed with rape, incest, life of the mother. I do. I think most people do. I think most Republicans do also.
They do.
But if you take a look, right now they're doing, it's an amazing thing. Out of the federal government, it's in states, and people are voting. And I will say, Ohio is, let's call it a more liberal version, has been approved. Kansas, the same thing, a little bit surprising to a lot of people. But the people are now voting, and it's taking this issue that's been going on for 52 years and has torn our country apart, and it's giving it to the people to vote on. And they're voting. And many states have already voted. Others are in the process of voting. And it's bringing it back to the people and a vote of the people. And it's not at all radical. And again, you have to follow your heart. I happen to believe in the 3 exceptions. Most people believe in the 3 exceptions. Most Republicans believe in
Over 90% of abortions are voluntary.
the exceptions. But they don't want to see an abortion in the 9th month or the 8th month. Almost everybody agrees to that. And they certainly don't want to see, in the case of the governor
I think it's
of
93.
Virginia, the former governor, I might add, who said, we set the baby aside, and then we decide what to do. Meaning, what do? We execute the baby. That's a radical, horrible position. And some people want that. I don't want it. Most people don't.
Thank you. Can I just pivot really quickly to another question?
This is what's the problem with voluntary abortion. I mean, you guys know what I think about abortion, right? I'm in favor of abortion. I think abortion's fine. I even think late-term abortion is okay. The reason why is that I don't think it's okay, but I don't think the government can make a better choice on it than the parent can. And I think the amount of government oversight in making the decision will cause more harm than good. And so basically, like, I think obviously, like, abortion is kind of a medieval thing to do. It's awful. But I think that you should obviously be able to do it. And I think that the majority of people that get late-term abortions get them for very serious reasons. It's not like somebody just decides 8.5 months into the pregnancy, wait, never mind.
You brought up health, Harris. You're an active man. We see you golfing all the time. But
I'm saying it does happen, right? It does happen. It's just that I think that it happens so infrequently, and the legislation and the creating of rules around preventing it from happening will create more harm than good as a net outcome. I think that it's bad too, but I don't think that you can make a rule that can prevent it from happening in something that's bad without there being a lot of collateral damage. I understand that, like, that's not a great answer to have. It's not a great way to look at it, but I think that's the best way to look at it. They should be rare. Yes, and they are rare.
You win, you'll still be president at 82.
Yeah.
Which is older than Biden is right now.
But not mentally. Look, mentally.
Here's the question.
He's shot. But most people.
Would you consider?
Most people. I know many people in their 80s and their 90s that are in great shape. Some of our greatest leaders. You look at throughout the world history, the greatest leaders, some of the greatest leaders in the world were in their 80s.
But here's the question. Would you consider stepping down if you felt that your health was declining? Or would you?
Oh, absolutely.
And who would make?
I think I'd know.
How would you make that decision?
I think I'd know. Look, If I came onto a stage like this and I got treated so rudely as this woman
Oh my
treated me,
goodness.
and I'm fine with it because it says that she was very rude, sir. Very rude. That was a nasty, that wasn't a question. She
Sir,
didn't
you
ask
can
me a
answer the
question.
question.
She gave a statement. That wasn't a question.
I repeated
You
your
can answer the
statement, sir,
question.
actually.
You said you would. You would.
Oh,
make that
absolutely.
decision
If I
to step
thought
down.
that I was failing in some way, I want people to be sharp. I'll go a step further. I want anybody running for president to take an aptitude test, to take a cognitive test. I think it's a great idea. And I took 2 of them and I aced them.
But can I just?
I took 2 of them. But let me ask you.
Yeah.
I would like to have
To be fair, this is as good of an answer as he could give. It is. This is as good of an
people
answer.
running for president. And I don't mean because they're 75 or 85. I think anybody running, I'd like to do it. People say it's not constitutional. I would like to have something passed where you can do it. I think we should know. I mean, I've watched what's happened in the last couple of years under this gentleman, and our country is a mess. We have inflation.
Here we go.
The
Here we
millions
go.
of people falling in. We have Afghanistan, which is the
Yeah.
worst, most embarrassing moment in the history
They're
of our
like,
country.
"Oh, shit, he's
What
doing
he
it
has
again."
done to our country, and her too. What they've done to our country, she has been a horrible vice president. She's considered the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Mr. President,
But would you consider taking a cognitive test
Mr.
I
President,
would love to
and
do
make
it.
it public?
Well, I've already taken 2 of them, but I'll do it again.
Mr.
I
President, how do you intend
I suggested, Harris, that let's take one. I said, Joe and I will go and take a cognitive test. Now, I'd do it with her too. I would do it with her also. You know what? She failed her law exam. She didn't pass her law exam, so maybe she wouldn't pass the cognitive test.
Oh my fucking god. Jesus, man. This is crazy. He was a savage, yeah. Holy shit. Is all content? I know, man. This is insane.
Mr. President,
Are you saying she's an attack? Just to be clear,
I'm just giving you the facts.
to be clear, you don't think
I'm
her.
how do you intend
She
and
didn't
look,
pass her bar exam, and she didn't think she would pass it, and she didn't think she was going to ever pass it. And I don't know what happened. Maybe she passed it. I
She
guess
did pass it.
There's a
She
man
did-
over
she
here. I
did
think
in fact
he
pass it.
must work.
Mr. President, I would love to ask you about January 6th. You've called yourself the candidate of law and order. When Time Magazine asked you if you would consider pardoning all the rioters, you said, yes, absolutely.
Sure.
You called them patriots. 140 police officers were assaulted that day.
This is the kind of stuff that really makes him something that's only like something like this doesn't come around every 10 minutes. Man.
Sure. Why not?
I want you to take a look at the water. Now, he has his water over here. This is something that this is really special, bro.